In the heart of Europe, where ancient glaciers carve cathedrals from stone and valleys cradle lakes so blue they seem unreal, lies Switzerland. A land of impossible beauty, where mountains rise like prayers and traditions echo through centuries. At 3,454 meters, where the air thins and clouds gather below your feet, Jungfraujoch stands as Europe's highest railway station. This is the threshold between earth and sky. The journey begins in green valleys, where flowers bloom and life flourishes. But as the cogwheel train climbs through the Eiger and Mönch mountains, tunneling through solid rock, the world transforms. When you emerge at the saddle between two 4,000-meter peaks, everything changes. The temperature drops, breathing requires effort, and the view steals whatever breath remains. This is the Jungfrau Aletsch UNESCO World Heritage Site. Home to the Great Aletsch Glacier, stretching 23 kilometers like a frozen river through the Bernese Alps. The landscape here is primal. White snow meeting gray rock, meeting blue sky. No trees, no grass, just the essential elements of creation. The climate is extreme. Even summer days hover near freezing. Winter temperatures plunge to -20 Celsius or colder. Wind howls through the corridors carved into the mountain. But on still moments, the silence is absolute. The vision belonged to Adolf Goyer Zeller, a Zurich industrialist who sketched his dream on a hotel tablecloth in 1893. Construction began in 1896. For 16 years, workers blasted tunnels through rock at altitude, where breathing was difficult and conditions brutal. Many died. But the railway opened on August 1, 1912, Swiss National Day, achieving what many called impossible. The Matterhorn rises 4,478 meters in near-perfect pyramid form, its four faces aligned to the EV cardinal directions. This is perhaps the world's most photographed mountain, yet no image captures its power. Zermatt, the car-free village at its base, has welcomed mountaineers and dreamers since the mid-1800s. Only electric vehicles and horse-drawn carriages move through its streets, preserving an atmosphere where the mountain feels present, almost alive. The first ascent came on July 14, 1865, when Edward Whymper's team reached the summit. But triumph turned to tragedy during descent, when 4 climbers fell to their deaths. A reminder that these peaks demand respect. The Gornergrat Railway, opened in 1898, climbs to 3,089 meters, revealing 29 4,000-meter peaks and the Gorner Glacier. The journey takes 33 minutes, each meter of elevation offering new perspectives. Zermatt's economy revolves around the mountain. Tourism sustains restaurants, hotels, guide services, and equipment shops. In summer, hiking trails radiate, across alpine meadows where wildflowers bloom and marmots whistle warnings. Winter transforms the region into a ski paradise with over 360 kilometers of slopes. Lauterbrunnen Valley is a narrow glacial trench with vertical walls rising 300 meters on either side. From these cliffs, 72 waterfalls cascade, some falling so far the water atomizes into mist before reaching the valley floor. Tolkien visited in 1911 and found inspiration here for Rivendell in The Lord of the Rings. The valley possesses that quality of seeming too beautiful to be real. Like something from imagination rather than geology. The most famous waterfall, Staubach, plunges 297 meters in a single drop, one of Europe's highest free-falling waterfalls. Goethe wrote a poem about it in 1779, moved by its ethereal beauty. The water seems to float, defying gravity, hanging in air like a veil. 3 villages nestle in the valley: Lauterbrunnen, Wengen, and Mürren. Wengen and Mürren remain car-free, accessible only by mountain railway and cable car. This isolation has preserved traditional character. Hiking trails connect the villages and waterfalls, ranging from easy valley walks to challenging mountain ascents. The Eiger Trail passes below the notorious North Face, where climbers test themselves against 1,800 meters of rock and ice. In spring, snowmelt increases waterfall flow, the valley filling with constant thunder. Summer brings hikers seeking alpine meadows carpeted in wildflowers. Autumn colors the forest's gold. Winter sees ice climbers ascending frozen falls. At Schaffhausen, near the German border, the Rhine River encounters a resistant ledge of rock. The result is Rhine Falls, 150 meters wide and 23 meters high. With an average flow of 600,000 liters per second. This is not the highest waterfall, but the most powerful in Europe by water volume. During summer snowmelt, flow can exceed 1 million liters per second, the river transforming into churning fury. The falls formed approximately 14,000 to 17,000 years ago during the last ice age when the Rhine's course shifted. Encountering harder limestone rock that resisted erosion. Over millennia, the river has carved deeper into softer layers, while the limestone ledge remains, creating the current formation. Viewing platforms extend over the water, offering perspectives where spray soaks everything and the roar drowns out thought. A rock formation in the center of the falls can be reached by boat during lower water levels, providing a platform literally in the middle of the torrent. In winter, when flow decreases and cold intensifies, ice formations create otherworldly sculptures. Summer brings illuminated evening shows, lights turning the falls into spectacle. Though purists prefer dawn visits when mist rises and few others disturb the experience. The sound is constant thunder, a bass note that resonates through your chest. Close your eyes, and the world becomes only this roar, primal, and overwhelming. Lucerne sits where the Reuss River flows from Lake Lucerne, a city that seems designed to embody Swiss perfection. Medieval towers, covered bridges, mountain backdrop, pristine lake, every element combines into harmonious beauty. The Chapel Bridge, built in 1333, spans the Reuss as Europe's oldest covered wooden bridge. Its interior held triangular paintings depicting Lucerne's history until the devastating fire of August 18, 1993, destroyed much of the structure. Rebuilding began immediately, the bridge reopening in April 1994, testament to its importance in Swiss cultural identity. The Lion Monument, carved into a sandstone cliff in 1821, honors Swiss guards who died defending French royalty during the French Revolution in 1792. Mark Twain called it the saddest and most moving piece of stone in the Aigou world. The dying lion, pierced by a spear yet still protecting the royal shield, captures nobility in defeat. Lake Lucerne, the fourth largest in Switzerland, stretches complex arms into surrounding valleys, creating ever-changing vistas. The lake reaches depths of 214 meters and maintains distinctive blue-green color from glacial silt. Mount Pilatus rises 2,128 meters directly from the lakeshore, accessible by the world's steepest cogwheel railway, with gradients reaching 48%. According to folklore, the mountain was named for Pontius Pilate, whose body was supposedly thrown into a lake on the summit. Dragons were said to guard treasures in caves, local legend claims. Founded around 750 AD as a Benedictine monastery, Lucerne grew when the St. Gotthard Pass opened in 1230. Making it a crucial trade route hub. The city joined the Swiss Confederation in 1332, one of the original cantons. Richard Wagner lived in the Tribschen Villa from 1866 to 1872. Composing parts of several operas while gazing at these same mountains and waters. The villa is now a museum. Interlaken occupies the narrow plain between Lake Thun and Lake Brienz, beneath the Eiger, Munch, and Jungfrau Mountains. The name means exactly what geography suggests: between the lakes. This is Switzerland's adventure capital. Paragliding. Launches from surrounding peaks see colorful canopies drifting above the valley. Skydiving from 4,500 meters offers free fall with the Alps spread below. Canyoning, bungee jumping, whitewater rafting. If adrenaline flows, Interlaken offers the venue. But adventure is modern overlay on ancient foundation. An Augustinian monastery stood here from 1133 until dissolution in the Reformation. Tourism began in the 1800s when British and German visitors discovered the Alps. Seeking sublime nature and mountain air for health. The Bernese Oberland Railway, opened in 1890, made the region accessible, connecting to mountain railways that push higher. The town itself is compact, easily walkable, stretching along the Hoheweg Promenade. Lake Thun and Lake Brienz showcase different colors. Thun tends toward blue, Brienz toward turquoise, each fed by different rivers carrying different glacial sediment. The Aare River connects them, flowing through Interlaken. At 1,856 meters in the Engadine Valley, St. Moritz has defined alpine luxury since the mid-1800s. This is where royalty skis, where the wealthy gather, where champagne flows at altitude. But glamour rests on natural foundation. The Engadin enjoys 322 days of sunshine annually, more than most Swiss locations. The air at this elevation is crisp and dry. The light possesses particular clarity that has attracted artists for generations. St. Moritz is not just a winter destination, it is the birthplace of alpine luxury skiing. Here, the legendary Corviglia ski area, the high-altitude slopes of Corvach, and the dramatic terrain of Diavolezza create one of the most iconic ski playgrounds on Earth. Deep in Switzerland's Graubünden region, surrounded by pine forests and sharp alpine cliffs, the Landwasser Viaduct stands as one of Europe's most iconic railway bridges. Built in 1902 for the Radian Railway, this masterpiece of Swiss engineering stretches 142 meters long and rises 65 meters above the valley below. Its 6 stone arches curve gracefully across the Landwasser River, blending perfectly into the mountain landscape. But the most unforgettable moment comes at the end, where the train doesn't just cross the bridge. It vanishes directly into a tunnel carved into solid rock. For a few seconds, it feels unreal. A red train floating above the wilderness, then disappearing into the mountain itself. In winter, the viaduct becomes a frozen monument. In summer, it glows golden under sunlight. Landwasser is more than a bridge. It is Switzerland's quiet proof that beauty and precision can exist together. Between Lausanne and Montreux, steep hillsides drop toward Lake Geneva in terraced steps. These are the Lavaux Vineyards, a UNESCO World Heritage Site where wine has been cultivated since the 11th century. Monks built the original terraces, Cistercians recognizing the potential of south-facing slopes above the lake. The configuration is perfect. Direct sunlight, reflection from the lake, and heat stored in stone walls create triple exposure, ripening grapes that produce exceptional wines. The terraces cover approximately 800 hectares across 40 kilometers of lakeshore. Stone walls, built by hand over centuries, total an estimated 400 kilometers in length. This is landscape as sculpture, utility transformed into beauty. The primary grape is Chasselas, producing crisp white wines expressing the minerality of local soil. Harvest occurs in October, entire villages mobilizing to pick grapes from terraces. so steep that all work must be done by hand. Villages dot the hillsides: Rivaz, Saint-Saphorin, Lutry, each preserving medieval character with narrow streets and stone houses. The climate is surprisingly mild. Lake Geneva moderates temperatures, winters rarely harsh, summers warm enough for Mediterranean plants. Palm trees grow in lakeside gardens. Hiking trails wind through the terraces. The Lavaux panoramic trail offering 32 kilometers from Saint-Saphorin to Lutry. Walk in spring when vines leaf out. Walk in autumn when grapes ripen and leaves turn gold. Each season reveals different beauty. Beneath red-tiled roofs, where the Aar River curves in perfect meander, Bern's Old Town has remained remarkably unchanged since medieval times. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is Switzerland's capital, yet maintains the scale and character of a much smaller place. Founded in 1191 by Duke Berthold Thaverfirth of Zeringen, the city was named after a bear he supposedly killed during a hunt. Bears remain the city symbol, living in a riverside park where they can swim and forage naturally. The Zeitglocke, a medieval tower from the 13th century, gained its astronomical clock in 1530. Every hour, mechanical figures perform. Tourists gathering to watch a tradition spanning nearly 5 centuries. 6 kilometers of arcaded walkways line the streets, creating Europe's longest weather-protected shopping promenade. Built gradually from the 15th century onward, these vaulted corridors offer shelter from rain and sun. The city maintains quietness rare in capitals. Traffic is limited. Voices naturally lower in respect for architecture. Trams glide past medieval fountains. The rhythm honors both efficiency and heritage. Does Bern whisper that progress need not erase the past? That we can move forward while remembering where we came from? At 3,238 meters in central Switzerland, Mount Titlis offers year-round snow and ice, accessible via the world's first rotating cable car. The Rotaire, installed in 1992, completes a full rotation during its 5-minute ascent, providing 360-degree views. The mountain is part of the Uri Alps, its glacier-covered summit rising above the ski resort of Engelberg. Engelberg means Mountain of Angels, named for the Benedictine monastery founded here in 1120. The cable car journey begins at Engelberg, 1,000 meters, and ascends in 3 stages, each revealing different ecosystems. Green meadows give way to rock and scree, then permanent snow and ice. The final cable crosses the glacier, swaying slightly in wind, building anticipation. At the summit station, the glacier cave offers tunnels carved into blue ice, illuminated to showcase crystalline structures. The Cliff Walk, a suspension bridge extending over a 500-meter drop, tests nerves while providing unparalleled views. The bridge sways gently, emphasizing the void below. Lugano sits on Lake Lugano in the Ticino canton, the Italian-speaking region of Switzerland. Palm trees line the lakeside promenade. Cafes serve espresso in tiny cups. The architecture, food, and language all speak of Italy. Yet the efficiency and cleanliness remain distinctly Swiss. The climate is mild, Mediterranean, rather than alpine. Winters rarely see snow at lake level. Summers are warm, perfect for swimming in the lake's clean waters. This microclimate, protected by mountains, allows plants to flourish that cannot survive elsewhere in Switzerland. The old town rises in steep steps from the lakeshore, narrow streets winding between pastel buildings. The Cathedral of San Lorenzo, begun in the 9th century, features a Renaissance facade and frescoes spanning centuries. Lugano represents Switzerland's diversity, proof that this small country contains multitudes, that identity can be both firmly Swiss and distinctly regional. That unity need not require uniformity. Zurich is not just Switzerland's largest city. It is the engine that powers the nation's modern identity. A place where medieval streets and futuristic ambition walk side by side, where the calm of a lake meets the rush of global finance. And where art, culture, and precision blend into a lifestyle that feels effortlessly refined. The city sits on the northern edge of Lake Zurich, where the Limmat River flows outward like a silver ribbon, cutting through the urban landscape. The lake is not just scenery. It is a living part of Zurich. In summer, locals swim in crystal-clear waters. Paddle boats drift under golden sunlight, and quiet promenades feel like a peaceful escape even in the center of a major city. The old town, known as Altstadt, feels like stepping into another century. Narrow alleys twist between stone buildings, cafes glow warmly under old lanterns, and churches rise above rooftops like guardians of history. The Grossmünster, with its twin towers, dominates the skyline. Legend says it was founded by Charlemagne, built where Saints Felix and Regula were executed. Whether myth or truth, Zurich carries its history like a crown, quietly, without boasting. Across Thiel, the river stands the Fraumünster Church, famous for its stained glass windows designed by Marc Chagall. When sunlight filters through the glass, the interior becomes a living painting, color spilling across stone like a dream. But Zurich is not frozen in history. It is a city of innovation. The banks here manage unimaginable wealth. The business districts move with purpose. Yet even with all this power, Zurich remains surprisingly calm. Clean streets, punctual trams, and quiet discipline shape everyday life. And perhaps that is Zurich's greatest secret. It is not a city that tries to impress you. It simply exists at a level of quality so high, it feels unreal. Zurich proves something important. Switzerland is not only mountains and villages, it is also modern civilization perfected. Geneva feels different the moment you arrive. It carries a global energy, like a city that belongs not only to Switzerland, but to the entire world. Located at the western tip of Lake Geneva, this city is surrounded by the Alps and the Jura Mountains. Yet its identity is shaped by diplomacy, peace, and international influence. Geneva is home to the United Nations European headquarters, the Red Cross, and hundreds of global organizations. In its streets, you hear French, English, Arabic, Spanish, and countless other languages blending like the voices of the planet itself. But Geneva is not just politics and meetings behind glass buildings. It is also breathtakingly beautiful. The city's most iconic symbol is the Jet d'eau, a giant water fountain shooting 140 meters into the air. It rises like a spear of water, visible from almost anywhere in the city. At sunset, it glows golden, as if the lake itself is reaching for the sky. The lakeside promenade feels peaceful, lined with flowers, parks, and elegant architecture. In spring, Geneva becomes a city of color, tulips and blossoms spreading across gardens like nature's celebration. The Old Town, known as Vieilleville, sits higher above the lake. Cobbled streets lead to St. Pierre Cathedral, where John Calvin once preached during the Protestant Reformation. From its tower, the view is pure magic. Rooftops, the lake, the fountain, and distant snow-capped peaks, Europe in one frame. Geneva is also a city of luxury. Watchmakers, jewelers, and high-end boutiques fill the streets. But behind the wealth is something deeper. Geneva is a place where human decisions are made. Decisions that shape nations, borders, and history. And that contrast is what makes Geneva cinematic, a peaceful lake beside the weight of the world. Basel is Switzerland's hidden masterpiece. Located on the Rhine River at the meeting point of Switzerland, France, and Germany, Basel is not only a city, it is a cultural crossroads. Here, borders feel invisible. A train ride can take you into another country in minutes. Yet Basel remains deeply Swiss in its order, cleanliness, and structure. The Rhine defines Basel's spirit. It flows calmly through the city like a moving mirror, reflecting bridges, cathedrals, and centuries of architecture. In summer, locals float down the river with waterproof bags called wickelfish, turning the Rhine into a swimming highway. Few cities in Europe feel so connected to their river. Basel's Old Town is full of charm. Red sandstone buildings, narrow streets, hidden courtyards, and quiet cafes. But Basel's true identity is art. This city has more museums per square meter than almost anywhere in Europe. The Kunstmuseum Basel holds masterpieces from centuries of European history. Modern art, classical paintings, sculptures, photography. Basel is like a living gallery. Every year, the city becomes the world capital of art through Art Basel, one of the most prestigious art fairs on the planet. Collectors, artists, and millionaires gather here, proving that Basel is not just a city, it is a global cultural stage. Basel feels intellectual, quiet, deep. It doesn't try to charm you with mountains or waterfalls. Instead, it invites you into its mind. What we take from Switzerland is not just photographs or memories, but a question. If such beauty exists, what are we doing to protect it? If such harmony between human and nature is possible here, why not everywhere? This is the gift of Switzerland. Not just scenery, but inspiration. Not just history, but hope. Not just precision, but passion for doing things right. Building things to last. Preserving what matters for those who come after. The journey ends where it began. But we are not the same travelers. Switzerland changes you if you let it. The silence of high peaks, the rush of waterfalls, the calm of lakes, the warmth of villages, all these become part of you, calling you back, or calling you forward to protect such beauty wherever it exists. What will you carry from these mountains? What will these lakes reflect when you look into them? The answer, like Switzerland itself, is both simple and profound. The best of what we can be when we try.